Greetings, peace be with you. In this video, I want to share with you the ultimate emotion. Okay, the more that you experience this emotion, the more abundance you will cultivate in your life, the higher you will vibrate in terms of your frequency, and the more you will begin to actually move towards creating a life that you love. Okay, now when I found myself at a low point in life, right, going in the cycle of destructive habits, because that low point doesn't just arise out of nowhere, right? That low point is an effect of many causes that have led up to it, right? It's like, I'm gonna stop eating the sugar, but then I do it again. I'm gonna stop watching porn, but then I do it again. I'm gonna stop watching so much TV, but then I do it again, right? All of these moments which led up to the point where I couldn't keep my word to myself. Therefore, my reputation that I acquired with myself was at a very low point. And then that was a moment where, you can label it depression, you can label it this lower frequency, you can label it this negative emotion, whatever it is. It resulted from me not being able to follow through on keeping my word to myself, right? Now, there was really a turning point that took place that really changed everything for me, right? So I picked up something known as the 5-minute journal, right? I never thought about journaling before. I think I heard about it from Tim Ferriss' podcast. He said that he does this every single morning and it changed his life. And I ordered one from Amazon. And actually following through with that, it totally changed my life, right? Because what the 3 journal really invites us to do is write down 3 things every single morning that we are grateful for, and write down 3 things every single night that were amazing that happened during the day, right? And slowly but surely just writing those things down and realizing the blessing that I have to actually be alive, to have this experience that I have, to have the parents that I have, to have the life that I have, to have the privileges that I have, right? The fact is that you're watching this video right now, you are very privileged, right? You have the opportunity to do anything. You have the internet, you can learn anything, right? And really it comes down to cultivating that emotion, which is gratitude. Now, on the surface it's like, okay, just be grateful, right? That's something that is common sense. But is common sense actually common practice? The answer is it depends on whether it's the case for you or not, right? Because it always depends on the context. It always depends on the individual situation. But personally, I've seen that my days end up being way different if I can cultivate that emotion of gratitude into every moment and use, obviously it's hard to every moment to really feel that emotion of gratitude, to like really remind ourselves of what a blessing it is to be alive, because it's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and the bustle, right? But the more I've actually found myself to cultivate that emotion, the more I've found to actually increase my awareness, the more I've seen what a privilege it is to even be alive, the more I've actually sharpened my view of reality, okay? In their book, The Tools, right? Bill Schwartz and Barry Michaels, I think it is. I don't remember the exact name of the authors, but it's a very powerful book called The Tools. Definitely recommend it. I'll link out to it below. But they talk about one of the tools being the grateful flow, right? The experience and the emotion of gratitude. So they talk about how gratitude is not just an emotion, right? It's not just something that you feel. It is actually a higher organ of perception, which allows us to perceive the source, right? The abundant flow of the source, which is really at the root of everything that we are experiencing right now, right? The source of life itself. And gratitude is what allows us to perceive that source, right? Because it's impossible for you to feel lower emotion while being grateful at the same time. Like if you're feeling low in your life and you really begin to cultivate that gratitude and really look at all the blessings in your life, that is when you are sharpening your view of reality, of the abundant flow of the universe. And what's more than that, you are actually changing the focus of your confirmation bias, okay? Now, this is a term in psychology. It's a cognitive bias which our brain has. It's like whatever we believe to be true, that is what our brain is set to actually look out for evidence in the environment, right? Like if you think that everything's negative, if you think that people are evil, if you think that your life is messed up, you're feeding that program to your brain. As you feed that program to your brain is going to scan the environment for all the evidence that actually confirms it, right? So when you begin to actually cultivate that gratitude, then you're going to begin to actually look for all the sources that confirm the evidence of how privileged you really are to actually experience this life right now, okay? Now, stepping this up to the next level is where things really change it up a notch. And this is something that I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, who talks about the quantum field, right? Whether you want to call it the quantum field, it's been called the alternative space, it's been called, the infinite parallel realities, whatever you want to call it, it's been called the Akashic records, right? But this is basically, think of it like this metaphysical layer of information which contains the scripts and sceneries for everything that ever was, is, or can be, right? This is the first time you're being introduced to an idea like this. It's like, okay, that's way out there right now. But even Einstein, who talked about space-time, right? He talked about how time and space are not separate. They come together in a four-dimensional structure known as space-time, in which the past, present, and the future exist at the same time. So it's not that time is moving, it's that we are moving through time. And every time and every space is actually captured within this alternative space, within the quantum field, within the infinite parallel realities, whatever you want to label it, right? Now, the reality that unfolds for us is based on two things, right? How we think and how we feel. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it like this. He talks about the identity loop, right? How is your state of being actually created? It's created, well, it starts with a thought, right? That thought leads to a choice. That choice leads to an emotion. That emotion, no, sorry, I messed it up. The thought leads to a choice. The choice leads to behavior. The behavior leads to an experience, of which the end result is an emotion. And then that feeling feeds back into the thought, and then that creates your state of being, right? Now, how this factors into the quantum field, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how your thoughts send out an electric signal to the quantum field. Your emotions send out a magnetic signal that actually draws the events back to you, okay? Now, where the magic really begins to happen is when you begin to get clear on what it is that your perfect or your ideal future actually looks like. What does it look like when you achieve your goals, right? Let's say that you were able to achieve everything that you wanted. Let's say that you look back a year from now and you look back, you're like, shit, I just achieved everything that I could ever actually dream was possible for me. What does that look like? And if you can really paint a clear picture of that in your head and practice gratitude for that existence of that image, for the existence of that vision, and practice gratitude with that, feel the emotion associated with this vision that you have for yourself, and feel as if it was already true, that is when the magic begins to happen. Okay, when you're grateful for the things that you want, when you're grateful for the things which you seek to create, that is when you begin vibrating at that frequency, and that is when they will begin to become attracted to you, right? That is really the law of attraction in practice, right? Feeling the emotions associated with what you want, and then what you want being pulled towards you. Now, again, it's important to consider, wanting, because the more that you want something, the more you're sending out the frequency that you don't have it. So it's important to really get clear on the frame which we are coming at it, because I said, the more you think about what you want, but really it's like, if you just feel the emotion associated with experiencing your vision, it's like you don't want it, you know that it's on its way, you're experiencing it right now, you are it, and that is when you begin to attract it. Because the more you want something, the more you chase something, the more that thing will go away, right? Your frequency is that of wanting, I want this, and then the universe has no choice but to just create more of that, to create more wanting, right? So the more you can actually experience already having it, already having the vision that you seek to create, the more the events, the people, the places, some magical things will start happening in your life when you begin to cultivate gratitude for not only the things that you're privileged to experience right now, but the things that you are privileged to experience in the quantum field. You can literally start time traveling, have that image in your head of what it is that you want, experience the emotion associated with it. And if you do that every single morning, every single night, literally rewire your subconscious mind, then in due time, that vision will be a reality for you. And it won't only be in your sixth sense of your creative imagination, it will be something that's experienced with your five senses right here, right now as well. Okay, so gratitude, that is the key takeaway. Like, if we can really bring that into every single moment of our lives, before we eat, before we drink water, like right now it's Ramadan at the time of this filming, and it's really an opportunity for me to even develop a further amount of gratitude towards actually eating, towards actually having access to fresh water. All of these things are blessings which we are privileged to really experience. So with that, I conclude this video. I hope that you take action on it. I hope that you begin developing that vision and really experiencing the emotions associated with that vision. And if you do that, I'm looking forward to hear about your results from that. Okay, so this has been Mo. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment below letting me know your number one takeaway, and like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. so that you don't have to see me again. No hard feelings, but I'll see you in the next video. Okay, much love to you, many blessings to you. Take care.